Today we're going to demonstrate how to set the IP address in Lexium Integrated Drives which support Ethernet IP communication. We're going to be setting the IP address using the built-in web page. Models which include Lexium ILS-2K, ILE-2K, and ILA-2K. For our demonstration, we are using a Lexium integrated drive of an ILA-2K type. First, we need to prepare the drive for communication by removing the drive's top cover. There are 4 screws which hold the top cover on, and we will need to remove all 4 of these screws. Now let's locate and identify the IP setting rotary switches S1 and S2. The next step is to adjust the position of the S1 rotary switch, which is used to assign the IP setting mode. When the IP addressing mode switch is set to position C, factory default, the device uses DHCP service to obtain an IP address from a DHCP server. Because we are manually setting the IP address, we don't want that function. Therefore, we want to set the IP addressing mode switch to position D for stored. For our demonstration, we have selected to use the optional cable VW3L2K001R30. This cable provides the power connection and the Ethernet field bus connection, which we plug into the ports within the Lexium integrated drive. The free ends of this accessory cable come equipped with the RJ45 jacks that can plug into the Ethernet port of your computer or your hub. We now connect either one of the free ends to our computer. Either end can be used because the wires are internally paralleled. We now have our Ethernet connection to our PC. We can now apply power to the drive so that we can establish communication. We will need to adjust our computer's network settings so that we can connect to the device. To adjust our network settings, we begin by gaining access through the control panel. Within our computer's control panel, we look for the network sharing or network connections. We now want to make the adjustments to our wired network connection. Opening up the properties of the network connection, we want to gain access to the IP settings through the V4 settings. We want to set the IP range of our PC so that it is in the same IP range as the device, taking care not to set the IP address to the factory default of the device. Otherwise, there would be a conflict. Note that the factory default IP address for Lexium integrated drives that support Ethernet IP is 192.168.100.10. We can test our IP settings to see if they're valid By opening up a command prompt window and using the ping command. We simply type in ping space 192.168.100.10, which is the default address for the motor. If our IP settings are correct, we will get a response from the motor. If you do not get a response, then please verify your IP settings you have adjusted in your network settings. Once we have verified that we can actually communicate with the motor using the ping command, we can now connect to the motor's built-in web page by using our web browser. In the address bar for Internet Explorer, we simply type in the default IP address of the drive, in this case 192.168.100.10. We will now navigate to the Maintenance tab of the web page to view and modify the network address. The device will ask you to log in using the default username and user password, which are both uppercase USER. Now we gain access to the communication section. We can see the default populated address of 192.168.100.10. We can populate a new address by simply typing in the address we want to use. In our demonstration, we are using 192.168.1.6. After you have populated a new address, you must click on Write to write the parameters to the drive, and then click on Save to save those new settings to the device EEPROM. After you have done so, you will cycle the power off on the motor and turn the power back on. Note now that the address of the motor has changed, and because it is now a new address and it is no longer in the range of our PC, we will not be able to connect to the motor. So we must once again navigate to our network settings and modify the address so that we can communicate with the motor. As we see here, we try to open up the address of the device and we are not able to connect. We therefore navigate to our network settings, go back to our network Ethernet IP address, and populate a new address which will allow us to be in the same range as the motor. In this case, 192.168.1.100. Now that we have populated a valid IP range in our PC, we will then be able to connect to the motor at its new IP address. We can verify this with a ping command, 192.168.1.6, and we get a response. If we wish to go one step further, we can again open up our web browser and connect to the built-in web page using the newly assigned IP address. Thank you for watching. We hope this video has made it easier for you to understand how to adjust the IP settings within a Lexium Integrated Drive that supports Ethernet IP. Have a good day.